In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to use the AND, the OR, the IF, and the IFERROR formula, explaining its structure and how it evaluates the criteria placed inside of it. So go ahead and pause this video, download the practice workbook from our website, the link is down below, and let's get started. The AND formula. In your formula bar, you would type equal to and in the parentheses, you would type in your logical evaluators. If logical 1 equals true, logical 2 equals true, and if you add more logical tests in there and they are also true, then the answer that the formula gives will also be the actual word true. Let's look at the example to explain in detail. If you have a spreadsheet with C1 equaling 1 and C3 equaling Jack, and you go to type the following formula in A1 equal to and C1 equal 1. That's your first logical test. Is that true? Yes, it is. And the second logical test, C3 equal Jack. Is that true? Yes, it is. Therefore, the resultant answer is true. Let's consider the other scenario. Logical 1 equals true. Logical 2 equals false. And if you had any other logical tests in there and they are true or false, then we have an answer of false. Again, let's look at the example. F1, if we typed in equals to and C1 equal 1. Is that true? Yes, it is. Is C3 equal to rack? No, it's not. Therefore, it's false. And therefore, the result that we receive in F1 is false. To better understand this and get a good grip, let's go to the practice workbook. Just make sure that you are in the AND tab below. Here we have a list of employees with ages, working in a certain city and department. Our requirements here would be that they need to meet both of these requirements to be true. So if they are in the forensics department and above 30, we expect an answer of true. So let's type it equal to and open parentheses forensics equal to forensics close quotations comma. Second logical would be if the age is above 30. Now you'll notice that the text has double quotation marks on either side of it and a number does not. So just remember that going forward. Close parentheses, enter. Thomas Hitch does not meet that criteria. Let's Control C to copy this formula and take it down to the rest of this row, to the cells. Control V, paste, and there we see that James Duncan meets the requirement. He is above 30 as well in the forensics, as well as Bailey Noble. Above 30 and forensics. Let's try the second column being 3 logicals. So you can go ahead and pause this, try it on your own, and then see if you got the answer right. Equal to and open parentheses forensics column, the department column, equal to head office, close quotations, comma. The age needs to be above 30, comma, and the third new criteria is needs to be living in Pretoria, the location. So we have that column equal to open quotations, Pretoria, close quotations, close parentheses, enter. Select, Control C, highlight the cells below, Control V, and there we go. We only have one employee that meets that criteria. So yeah, go ahead and try this to just get used to the fact of knowing that you get false and true. This is the basic form that you would use later in more complex formulas that we'll get to in the future. The OR function. In the formula bar, we type in OR, open parentheses, and your logical tests. So let's explain the logical tests. If logical 1 equals false, logical 2 equals true, and any other logical formulas in there also answer true, then the answer to the resultant formula is true. better understand, let's look at the example. Again, we have 1 in C1 and Jack in C3. Let's type the formula in A1. If we type OR C1 equal 2, in this case, it is false. C3 equals Jack, it is true. Therefore, the result to this formula is true. OR only requires one of those logicals to be true to give you an answer of true. Consider the other scenario where you can make an OR formula receive a false situation. So we look at logical 1 being false, logical 2 being false, and any other logical tests in the parentheses are also false, then the OR formula will give you an answer of false. Let's look at the example. In F1, we type equals to OR C1 equal 2. First logical is false. Second logical, C3 equals rack, is also false. Therefore, the result to this formula is false. Let's go to the practice workbook and give it a try. Just make sure that you are in the OR tab below, and you'll notice that the list is the same as before. However, the criteria is different. Each employee either needs to be from the forensics department or above 35 for the answer to be given out as true. So we'll type the formula equal to OR, open parentheses. First logical test, the department needs to be equal to forensics, close quotations, comma, second test. So it's either that is true or the age is above 35. Close parentheses, enter, and you have it true because Thomas Hitch is in the forensics department. Not above 35, but it is forensics. So let's Control C, select down, Control V, and there we have a few of them either meeting the forensics or both, like James Duncan, he's above 35 and forensics, so he's true either way. Sean Wolf, he's above 35, but not from forensics, but he meets the age, so it's true. Let's go ahead and try the 3 logical tests. The employee needs to be or from the head office, or they need to be above 36. So you'll see I select the cell that it's the age 36, comma, or they need to be in Johannesburg. Close double quotation, close parentheses, enter. Select, Control C, highlight all the way down, Control V, and there you know that these 3 employees either meet 1, 2, or 3 of these criteria requirements to be true. The if formula. Before we've worked with AND or OR, and the result to their formulas are always true or false. With if, we can have a personalized response, either being in a formula or a value or text. So in the formula, we would write equal to if, and in the parentheses, you have one logical test, a true response, and a false response. So if the logical test is true, then we will ask it to give a response to what we've written in the true value section. Let's look at the example. We type in A1 if C1 equals 1, that's our logical test. In this case, it is true. It will then type the word correct in our cell selected. So therefore, we will see the result giving correct. In the other scenario, if logical test is false, then the answer should be our false value response. Let's have a look at the example. In F1, we typed equals to F, C3 equal to Tom being our logical test. In this case, it is false. So our false response will be wrong, and that will go back down to F1. Again, let's refer to our practice workbook. So just make sure you're on the if tab, and then you'll notice that we have values on the left with criteria at the top. So let's go through each one, and you'll have example 2 to test with too. If you want, you can always pause the video and then play to see if your answer equals the one I've typed. So in this case, we would like to see if the value is below 50, it needs to show the text price low. So we'll type equal to if, open parentheses, If that value is smaller than 50, comma, then the answer should be between quotation marks, price low. If you wanted to show nothing, blank, you would only indicate to double quotation, double quotation. There being no text implies that it must be blank. Close parentheses, enter, and there we go. He does not meet the criteria, therefore it's blank. Let's copy that formula down, Control C, highlight with your mouse, the rest, Control V, and there we go. Second row meets the requirement, therefore it indicates price low. Let's do the next column. Equal to if, now this one we need it to be above 200, then it needs to indicate price. Okay, if it does not meet it, it should say nothing, blank. So that above 200, comma, if it meets that criteria, it needs to say price okay. If it does not, stay blank. Close parentheses, enter. Control C, go down, Control V. There we go. The criteria met. Now let's have an example where we integrate both to show if it meets a requirement, it gives you a true value, and if it meets a false, it gives you a false value being text. So equal to if the value is above 500, comma, then we need to indicate price high. But if it does not meet that, we needed to show that price is acceptable. Close quotation, close parentheses, enter. Control C, Control V, and there we go. So till this step, we've now learned the and, the or having the true and false answers, but here we have personalized the text with using the if formula. Go ahead and practice with example 2. The if error formula. In the formula bar, we have if error, open parentheses, value and value if error. What that means is, if the formula in the value section equals an error, and the error can be one of the following, not applicable, value, and so forth, then we want the formula to replace it with our personalized response that's written in the value if error section. Let's look at the example. In A1, we type if error C1 divided by C3. That is our formula test. So if you take 1 divided by Jack, that is obviously going to give you an error because it's a number divided by a text, and the type of response will be hashtag value. So it will pick it up as an error, and it will then give a response to your personalized word being issue, and that is what will be indicated in A1. To get a better understanding and grip on this, let's go to the practice workbook. Okay, just go ahead and make sure that you're in the if error tab. So let's create an error. If we take this value and we divide it by 0, we get an error. Let's copy that formula down. And as mentioned, so the answer here is an error. We want to fix the error by saying that if you give me this error, give me something else. Maybe say there is a problem. We'll go into the formula bar at the top for the first one. We'll click between the equal sign and the cell reference, and we'll type if error, open parentheses. And as explained before, the first answer would be the value that is usually the error value. So that's the formula, B3 divided by 0 gives you the error. So we'll go after it and we'll type comma. And then we say, if that formula gives me an error, what is it that I wanted to say? Then we can say in text, open double quotation, there is an error. Close double quotations, close parentheses, enter. Let me just copy, and you'll see because of the relative referencing, the correct rows is still allocated, and it tells you that when it calculates whatever you require to calculate, it gives an error. So you can either have this in text, or let's do a value. So if error, if that formula gives me an error, then maybe say the answer is 5. Press enter. There we go. It's a number. So it's easy as that. Go ahead, have a look and test around. So to recap, we've done the and or formula, both giving a true or false response to your criteria. The if formula giving a personalized result to your logical test either being true or false. And the if error formula giving a personalized result to a formula that gives an error. So if you like this video, please go ahead and click the thumbs up. And if you'd like to know more about how to integrate all 4 of these into a complex formula, such as the one being shown, go ahead and consider subscribing. Thanks for sticking around. I'm in the process of creating an Excel spreadsheet support community on Patreon, and it's intended for all Excel users from beginner to advanced level. Our focus at ESS is to support you on your Excel journey. So let us shape all the benefits to your needs. Take 2 minutes, click the link below, and let us know what it is that you need.